It is the Omega Level Nerds. Very, very, very excited because, of course, for those of you who have followed the show, Halo Drama has been on a journey through the MCU. We checked with him, after Phase 1, but he has since then powered through and has watched Endgame, which really, it's debatable, but is basically the last big MCU movie. And yeah, he has taken in that brilliant, brilliant movie. Now, we took 10 years. You did it
Mm,
in what, a month?
something like that.
Yeah, like every other day.
So you didn't have that excruciating wait between Infinity War and Endgame. It was a year. I mean, it was
Right.
still pretty short, but yeah.
So in
So
that phase, you only got Spider-Man left, because that's the wrap up to that phase.
Yeah, I haven't
yeah,
seen any of the Spider-Man movies. No.
yeah, he doesn't have access to the Spider-Man movies, or you haven't watched the Incredible Hulk.
Well, I've seen it before, just not in this timeline order
Yeah,
that I've been watching it in.
yeah,
But I've seen it before a while ago.
yeah. It's nothing super cool. Like I said, yeah, if you hadn't seen it, I mean, you can pick it up in the $5 Walmart bin. And the only reason I know that is because, I was on a getaway with the Omega Level wife this weekend, and there was no internet, but there was like a Blu-ray player there. So we just went to the Walmart and went through the $5 bin, and that was certainly one of them.
$5
Along
date
with,
night.
yeah, well, let me see, we got Suicide Squad because the wife was kind of interested because she liked the Suicide Squad. So, the Justice League was in there, so I picked that up. Not even the Snyder cut. Um, and 47 Ronin was actually got that for like
With
$3.73. So that was
Mm.
decent. I hate the ending, but it is what it is. That's how that culture rolls, I guess. But anyway, so Halo Drama. I guess give me your first impressions of the MCU, and then I got some questions for you. But what's your thoughts, impressions?
First of all, it was fucking amazing. It was a great journey.
Yeah,
Thanks for getting me hip. Sorry that
yeah,
I'm late to the party, but I'm caught up nonetheless.
yeah, absolutely.
Um, I didn't, like I said, I had seen bits and pieces here and there. So some
Mm-hmm.
of the stuff I knew was kind of coming, but to see it in chronological order made the shit make so much more sense. Um, where to begin on these notes? Jesus Christ. Well, first, because I know that you were going to ask me this, so let me just go ahead and get this part out of the way.
Okay.
I know that you were going to at some point bring up what I felt were my top three,
Yep. Yep.
and I thought about it and thought about it and thought about it, and I'd have to go with Captain America: Civil War, Infinity Wars, and Endgame.
Okay.
I like the standalone movies. The Thor ones were kind of, but
Yeah.
the standalone movies, they did their thing. Don't get me wrong, but I don't know. I like the ensemble cast
Yep. Sure.
movies,
Mm-hmm.
and so those ones stuck out to me the most, especially Endgame.
Yeah.
Holy shit! When they did the time thing, went back in time, and then when the real war was starting and all those portals opened, and it was
Yes. Dun, dun, dun,
everybody.
dun, 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 dun. That is the greatest fucking scene in cinematic
dude,
history.
dude, I have to agree. When it was just everybody from every
Pepper
movie,
Potts even fuck shit up.
dude.
In
Yeah,
her
I saw her.
rescue armor.
Yeah, I saw her flying, and I was like, "Oh shit, they're dead ass. Everybody's here. It's going down." And like I said in our message board, I had got so into the movie, I'm sitting on the edge of my bed like a little ass kid and started
Of
forgetting to take
course.
notes because I was
Hey.
just so stuck on it. Um, I guess notes in no kind of real order because the one thing that really got me right at the beginning of Infinity Wars, and I verbally gasped out loud sitting in a room by myself when they were showing Clint with his kids and blah blah blah, and he came around and his daughter was fading away,
Right.
dead serious. I was like, like, and then he went around looking for I was like, that's fucked up. Um, there's Oh, I'm gonna be all over the place with this shit. I'm sorry.
Hey, it's all right. This is what I want.
Right, right. Let's see, let's see, let's see. One that shocked me, but it's because I didn't know what to expect, was Doctor Strange. I
Okay.
thought Doctor Strange was awesome.
Yeah.
You could tell it was you could tell it was rushed, but I still thought it was awesome. And then you go to, what was it? Was it Thor Ragnarok? And it just amazed me that Doctor Strange can just handle Thor and Loki, just like get out of my face. I'm not trying to listen to shit you're talking about right now.
Right.
Yeah, you get the fuck up out of here. Goodbye.
Right. That part
Yeah.
had me.
Yeah.
That part had me dying. Loki pulled out the knives and was basically was like, "Hold on, who the fuck you think you're talking to? Like, nigga, do you know who the fuck I am?" And Doctor Strange was like, "I don't give a fuck who you are. Bye."
Right.
Yeah. That shit had me dying. I was like, "Wow, he could just handle gods." I was like, "Hey, Steve."
Yeah.
Let's see. Another thing,
That soundtrack too is awesome.
no
yeah.
doubt, Doctor Strange with that first fight scene. The first thing I said, I was like, "Oh my god, they brought the Inception crew in
Yeah.
here
Yeah.
to do these effects." I was like, "Good shit." Now this, again, here's me watching CinemaSins too much, but it makes me think about stuff. Like, there are certain times in some of these movies. Well, this one did it. A real one that I really saw, like, they didn't explain a certain time skip. Don't get me wrong, it wasn't too long, but there was this scene that bothered me. It's let's see, I said the movie needs to explain the time. Stephen Strange had he had shaved, was on his way to the party,
Yeah.
gotten that wreck way out in the hills, might I add. So I was never really figured out how he got transferred all the way back to his hospital.
Yeah.
Like, dude, you are nowhere near your house. But anyway, he woke up in the hospital, and we seen the girl shaving him again. And I was like, wait a minute,
Right.
how long has he been in the hospital?
Yeah.
Um.
Interesting.
Then when he goes to his board meeting or whatever with the people who run the hospital or whatever, he's got a beard and a goatee again. I'm like, how long were you in the hospital?
Does your hair just grow really long fast, or we
Man.
don't know?
Those were the major things I'd noticed from that, because, like I said, it was another. Like I said, I really liked it and I was really into it. So I had forgot to take notes because I was just so stuck watching it.
Sure.
Because that, like I said, that was one that I didn't really know what to expect because I don't know much about him.
Okay.
I think that's one of the most underrated ones, to be honest, because a lot of people rip on that movie.
No doubt. When he got
The only negative real thing that I have is when I went to go see it, I had won like early release tickets, and one of my boys wanted to go, and I was like, I mean, whatever, because let's go. And we had like a blunt road, like there was like 5 in rotation, and it was only like 4 of us in the circle. So by the time I got there and had some popcorn, my ass was asleep. And then I woke up, all of a sudden it's Dormammu. I said, "Oh shit!" So I had to see it again. I had to like bootleg it, but once I saw it again, I was like, "Oh okay, oh okay, wow, the movie was really good." Oh,
Like you didn't wake up with her like spinning around and shit. Like what?
yeah, right. No, I was
Right.
so oriented. It was it was fucking hilarious, bro. I woke up at the part where, like, I think it was the part where what's his name, running around like Chinatown at the end, and him and Wong were like running up or whatever.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm like, I'm asleep. I'm like waking up a little. I'm like, oh fuck, I fell asleep. Oh, oh, oh.
Yeah.
When he had Dormammu stuck in that loop, why did I think of Naruto? It's either,
Yeah.
which one was it, the Izanagi or the Izanami? It was one of
Yeah,
those
who
two
knows?
that kept you in that loop. And for some reason, for anybody who watches Naruto and knows what I'm talking about, that was one of the first things I thought about. I was like, oh, he's just stuck in the loop until he changes his decision.
Yeah,
I'm like, that's exactly how that worked.
That's what Tachi did to Kabuto. Yep.
Oh, and let's see, Thor Ragnarok, which again, out of the three Thor movies, I'd say I like that one the most.
Sure.
Dark World lost me, but I watched it. It
Told
fucking
you.
lost
I
me.
told you.
It, that shit lost me, but I watched it. Let's see,
Yeah, that's
uh,
really before they took a more comedic. They're trying to take Thor and Asgard like super super serious, and
right.
so yeah, it just gets too much in the sauce. I think for a lot of people.
I just thought it was cool as fuck. He was at the beginning of the movie. He got free and he was fighting that beast, and he just
Certainly.
dropped that hammer in his mouth.
Yeah.
It just dropped and was like, "Stay." I don't know why, but I busted out laughing. The Matt Damon cameo, I died. I was like, what
Bendy
the fuck? I was
Yes.
I was like, get the fuck out of here. Um, Hella, she got to Asgard and just pulled a Neo from the Matrix
Yeah.
on the Asgardians and just dogged them. I was just like, why are they fucking with this bitch? The one thing that I guess, and CinemaSins brought this up too, but I had thought about it too. She had been in prison for all those years, decades, whatever the
Mhm.
case may be. She gets more strength when she's in Asgard. So obviously, I'm assuming the further away she is from Asgard, slowly she will lose her strength or whatever. But as soon as she's freed, still on Earth, she can crush Mjolnir. I was
Yeah.
like, that had me kind of, but I was like, whatever. I'm still gonna watch it.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
you can. Yeah, there's. I mean, I've never seen it explained, but you can say, "Oh, it's Asgard. It's magic, the Bifrost," so she's not that far away.
right. I never understood how Thor, the god of thunder, who can generate electricity, how the fuck are you getting tased by this little fucking thing on your neck?
Oh, right. Yeah.
Never understood
Yeah.
that. As
I
soon
never thought of that actually. Yeah.
the
How
first
can they
time
just
I seen him
short
get
that
shocked,
out?
yeah, the first time I seen him get shocked and dropped, I was like, what the fuck? You should have just absorbed that like a champ. Like
Yeah.
you wield real thunder and lightning, and this little thing dropped you. So
Well, I think too, remember at the end of the movie when he has that inner conversation with Odin, he thinks his powers come from his hammer.
right.
So it could be also like a
Oh, yeah.
psychological thing too.
Yeah,
Are
no,
you,
that does make sense.
are you the god of hammers?
Let's see. When Banner was on the ship with Valkyrie and he jumped off the ship thinking he would transform in midair to join the fight and he fucking belly flopped on the bridge. I busted out
Um,
laughing. Like y'all tripping for that one. Why y'all do him like that?
yeah.
Um,
Yeah, that was hilarious. He just thud on the Rainbow Bridge.
also, why did Hela really need an army? That bitch was an army.
Yeah, yeah, just like throwing swords in all directions infinitely.
Right. And especially after she got to Asgard, what do you need?
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
so
that's just
be
a
it.
movie trope. Yeah, they need their
Right. Let's see.
the fodder.
Banner stayed Hulk for 2 years.
Yeah.
How the hell is that possible? You mad in your sleep?
Well, okay. Yeah. I mean that happens in the
Gangbanging at
comics.
breakfast, nigga.
I mean it's happened in the comics, and specifically the greatest example that I can remember is a series called Planet Hulk, which is what this movie was based off of. So real quick, in the comics what happens is the Illuminati, who's a group of, it's actually good guys, but like Professor X, T'Challa, Submariner, Reed Richards. Anyway, they decide they're going to send the Hulk to an uninhabited planet where he can live and not hurt anybody and be happy. So they trap him in the spaceship. He's not exactly happy, by the way, but nonetheless they got him and they shoot him off. Well, he lands on Sakaar, which isn't a peaceful uninhabited planet. It's a planet where like slaves are taken and put in the Colosseum. So that's where you see that in Ragnarok. He's even in the movie like wearing the armor and shit they had in that comic book. So anyway, that's where that comes from. And in that series, yeah, he was always the Hulk on Sakaar because he couldn't. I mean, as Banner, he would be dead. So that is that does have comic precedence. But yeah,
I figured
you're
it
right.
might, and like I did, that's not my area of expertise.
Sure.
That's why I'm laying questions to the pros.
Marvel's
Um,
handling of Hulk is as criminally bad as their handling of Scarlett Johansson. Well, that's Disney, but Marvel's handling of Hulk is just as criminally bad as Disney's handling of Scarlett Johansson.
Right. Because as much as
they just didn't give a fuck about Hulk at all.
Because as much as I love, like in the start of Infinity War, where Thanos is just like, you ain't doing that to the Hulk, dude. I don't care if you are Thanos. Like, I'm not saying Thanos can't find some way to fuck with the Hulk, but you're really not going to square up against the Hulk like that. I mean, you may knock him down, but the angrier he gets, the more strength he gets.
And then not even just knocked him down, but like literally scared the Hulk out of him.
Right.
Yeah.
Like that's not happening.
And the last thing I had on Thor Ragnarok, just a minor thing, is when, like you said, he went and had that conversation with Odin, realized his power was his, blah, blah, blah. And then he went and jumped on the bridge. He jumped on the bridge all lightninged up. I was like, oh, okay. And then he jumped in and did that little spinny thing. I was like, oh, shit, Thor just did a Psycho Crusher.
Yes. Psycho Crusher. Yeah.
I was like, hell yeah.
Yeah, playing the immigrant song.
Which is the shit, might I add. That's one of my dude's ringtones, as a matter of fact.
Yes.
All right, on to Infinity Wars. And yep, that was one of my first notes. I was like, Thanos took MMA lessons before he fucking fought the Hulk.
Yeah.
He just came in piecing him up, kneeing him, and I was like, what the?
Yep.
And same thing like you said. I'm waiting for the Hulk to get pissed.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. Nope, slept him. I was like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. They needed to establish, like, right away, Thanos ain't the one, but wrong person to do it against.
Yeah.
And then when when Thor met up with the Guardians, that part was cool as hell.
Yeah. Against the windshield.
Right. They get him on the ship. They get to talk, and Thor brought up the Avengers. And they're like, "Who are the Avengers?" He said, "Earth's mightiest warriors." And what's the chick? The chick with the antennas. I can't think of her name off the top of my head.
The antenna mantis.
Yeah. Yeah. He said, "Earth's mightiest heroes." She said, like Kevin Bacon. He said he might be on the team. I don't know. I was like,
yeah.
I was like, oh my god, they are tripping. Let's see. Then Star-Lord meets Tony, and they're talking shit back and forth. By this time, Star-Lord is scarred. Thanos done fucked him over too, and he says, who? Oh, Strange said, who is your master or whatever? He was like, my master. What am I supposed to say? Jesus? And Tony was like, you're from Earth. And he was like, I'm not from Earth. I'm from Missouri. He was like, that's on Earth, dipshit. And it was the way he delivered it. That shit had me dying.
That whole little dialogue tree right there. The whole scene.
Right.
Was great.
Now, the Ant-Man movies, because I did skip over that. The Ant-Man movies, whatever.
Yeah.
It's just, maybe if I'm alone, so be it, but I had nothing, especially for the one with the Wasp. I just did not care for it.
I mean, I thought they were fun movies.
Right.
Like, I'm not saying they were bad, but, I get it. I think Quantumania is going to be awesome, but to me, Ant-Man's greatest moment is during that scene you talked about, where they just rush each other, and he just fucking punches that space whale down, or whatever the fuck those things are called. That was great. But yeah, the Ant-Man movies, I like them, but I see where you're coming from.
And in Infinity War, they're going to all these different planets, and blah blah blah. It's amazing how many planets have air.
Yeah, a lot of.
Just all these planets that they happen to visit have air. I'm like, okay, If you say so.
Yeah, that's a comic booky thing. Pretty much all planets in a comic book are breathable unless they specifically want to make it
Right.
a hazardous shit.
And I take it that the axe that the dwarf made is stronger than Mjolnir.
Stormbreaker.
Yeah, Stormbreaker is stronger
Yeah.
than Mjolnir.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, because I was like, she smashed that bitch with her hand, but Thanos
I
could
mean-
barely fucking handle that shit.
It could be argued though, because like Mjolnir has that special property where like you cannot fucking lift it unless.
Right.
Whereas I think they call it Stormbreaker, but it's really reminiscent of an axe called Yarnborn. Nonetheless, so I think though overall though it is stronger, but I just that special property of I put this on something, it ain't getting up.
Yeah. Well, the big thing too with Stormbreaker is it was actually built for Thor specifically.
Yeah.
It wasn't handed down to him like this was, and he even stressed like you're going to get something that can destroy gods basically. Like this is.
And that's what Yarnborn can basically do in the comics. Like that shit was made so he could fucking kill a Celestial. So yeah, it's badass.
In my opinion, for all the fights that were in Infinity Wars, to me, the best one was Thanos versus Strange.
Yeah.
To
That was a
me,
good one.
they got it in. He was really on par with Thanos. And that didn't even touch him,
Yeah.
and didn't lay a single hand on him. I was like, this is raw as fuck. I was like, yeah, you were learning your craft in your movie. In this movie, you're a boss, and I'm like,
Right.
bet I'm liking this dude. All right, and here we go. Endgame. The notes I did remember to take. Because like I said, I got so lost into it like a little ass kid that I just laid there and watched it.
Yeah. I get it.
And like you said, between having kids and having to make dinner and doing stuff, it actually took me like 5 hours to watch.
Yeah.
But I got through it. Let's see. Oh yeah, I'll let you know. Yeah, I legit gasped when I seen Clint's family fade away. I was like, damn, that's messed up. Oh, and Ant-Man was stuck in the quantum zone. Said for him it was for him it was 5 hours. Out in the real world it was 5 years. And I was like, oh shit. Was this dude stuck in a reverse hyperbolic time chamber?
Yeah, basically.
Oh man.
You know what's funny is I didn't even see Ant-Man and the Wasp till after I saw Endgame, so I was actually like, huh, what's going on here? And then
You
I had
missed
to
that
kind
after
of
credits and
Yeah.
everything.
And if it was 5 years in the real world, but only 5 hours to him, Michelle Pfeiffer's character was stuck in there for like 30 years. So wouldn't
Yeah.
she have only been gone like a day and a few hours?
Yeah,
Well,
yet she seems
that's
to
the
have
whole
aged.
thing about the quantum realm
quantum,
is
yeah,
it's not
consistent.
it was 5 hours for Scott, but not for her because she was doing all types of shit all over the place. So we don't really know how long she was
Right.
in there for her.
Affects people differently. Yeah, I probably should have thought about that before I asked, but so be it. That's why I have you pros here.
That's a good point. I mean, it's going to have a huge thing in the next movie too. We can imagine since it's in the fucking title.
After watching CinemaSins, I think I got my answer, but I was going to ask anyway. I'm assuming Loki disappearing with that Tesseract and we never see him again. Is that setting up for his show?
Yes.
Yes. His show literally
Immediately.
started at that point.
Oh.
Yeah.
What'd you say, Jay?
I thought that we were not supposed to spoil it for you, but yes.
Oh.
yes.
Oh
Yeah,
no,
no,
I was gonna ask anyway. Like I said, a lot of the stuff I had already knew because I had seen bits and pieces. But like I said, watching it in order made things make a lot more sense.
Here you go, Halo drama. Spoiler: the beginning of his show literally repeats that scene.
Fair enough.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Not to mention, yeah, I'm gonna watch it anyway.
You have to.
Oh
yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Let's see. From what I do know about Thanos and his obsession with death, we didn't see an appearance of Lady Death.
Nope. In fact, they kind of melded her with Hela, the goddess of death. So yeah, that relationship does not exist.
They melded her. They melded her. They melded. Okay, so if Death was in it, then it would probably be like Hela. But the confliction that he had, if there was any confliction, was Gamora instead
Yeah.
of uh, uh, he was doing this for his children, if you will, not necessarily for his love, but he loved
Right.
Mora out of all his quote unquote children. Um, and speaking of, I don't know why I started watching this, but we kind of had a day. Me and my girlfriend had a day today, and when we got back, we kind of took a mini nap watching Dragon Ball Z. But then I started watching Guardians of the Galaxy, the animated show. Is that shit canon?
I'm not
Because
sure.
like I think it's connected to after the first movie. 'Cause they're the first episode is like they're already the crew. And
Most of that
so
stuff is canon, though. Most of that
yeah,
animated
and
stuff
so
is
in
canon.
that Korath, who I thought was the one African dude in
The first one.
the first one, they called him a son of Thanos. Is that that's why it was just throwing me off. I don't know. Maybe I'll just look into that more. But
Maybe it's like
Yeah.
something that happened in between the movies or something like in between.
yeah,
the
that's
second
what it
movie.
seems like to me. Like they were out doing Guardian shit while in between the
Yeah.
movies, which
It
makes it closer together.
could be because didn't I know you guys would know more about this than me, but wasn't it like that with the Star Wars animated shows?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they threw ties like this, like they were like in between or what if stories or
Big
something
time.
like
No,
that.
No, they're
it
not
was
what if. They're
literally a Clone Wars,
Oh,
like they're
okay,
just
like
filling that
battle
shit in.
scenes and all that.
okay. And the last
From
note
what I
that I
cannot, just real quick, it is not canon, Jay.
No?
It's not.
No.
Oh,
It was canceled like a year later too.
okay.
the last note that I remembered to take, which was near the end of the movie,
Mhm.
when they were having the big battle. If Endgame was rated R, Ant-Man or the Wasp would have won that whole movie.
Okay.
Here's how I'm looking at it. If that movie was rated R, one of those two would have won the day. Because they know how to shrink down to that size, obviously. It's really just like flew into Thanos' body and was just like, expand.
Yeah.
Just random weird shit that I was
Sure.
thinking about.
I think
Yeah.
we all were thinking. I was thinking that too, if I remember.
Yeah,
Well, yeah.
just
Like, damn, he just gonna fly in his mouth and then goodbye.
right.
I mean, think of Civil War, like when he's in Tony's suit, he could just say,
Right.
his suit just gets shredded apart.
Right. Um. Yeah, that was the last note that I had remembered to take.
Okay.
But all in all, great journey. I'm glad y'all got me hip. Yeah, Infinity Wars and Endgame blew my fucking mind. Like I said, I'm late
Okay.
to the party, but I'm here now.
Yeah.
That shit blew my fucking mind. Shit was
And
great. It was amazing.
And I knew those are going to be number 1 and 2. So I guess I was just really interested to see, okay, what other than that, did you really like? And so you're saying Civil War,
Definitely.
which makes sense because
Good one.
that would be my number 3 probably too. That's just a cool.
I was gonna say if I had to give an honorable mention, because this was almost my number 3, but I chose Civil War over it. If I had to give an honorable mention, it would be Winter Soldier.
I knew that was coming. Yeah, that's critically acclaimed basically across the board.
Yeah, Winter Soldier went hard for
Okay.
sure.
So my other question is, who's your favorite MCU character?
Captain America.
Captain America.
Oh yeah, always has been. Me personally, sir.
Guys, this has been great. I will talk to you later.
No, because even in the Civil War argument or whatever, I was on Captain America's side the whole time.
Yeah.
Like,
Jay,
I
how
don't.
does that make you feel?
I mean, I don't know. It makes me feel that he's gonna have to go through it one more time, and then when he goes through it one more time, don't fanboy, and then realize that Steve Rogers is the whole reason why that universe is as fucked up as it is.
Maybe so. Um,
No, but I
No, it
get it.
is like literally him crashing into the ocean and leaving the Tesseract open like that in the first place is the focal point of everything in that universe happening. Well, I mean, I'll put it to you like this: Red Skull did that. So by unleashing and I wasn't around for the or did we talk about uh, uh, Captain Carter? What if?
No, that
Last
was
week.
That was last week. Okay.
Yeah.
So the thing about that is like even though Red Skull didn't do the whatever monster that was and bring open that portal, he did open it a little bit, which then alerted the radar of all the major people, villains, if you will, or the cosmic people in the MCU. And then obviously that led to the stuff with Captain Marvel, and led to just the
Yeah.
whole MCU. But then now that we're looking at the multiverse, I guess in a way this kind of saves Steve a little bit, because like that was supposed to happen. But we didn't know anything about about the multiverse until Wanda, lost her fucking shit. So, and that was, a few months ago. So, uh, if you're looking at it from like, oh, this is the universe that we know, this is the universe that we see, Steve is literally the catalyst of all that goes wrong, all the people that die, all the whatever. Like they could have easily transferred this into the hands where it was supposed to be, or with the people that was supposed to be with, to do whatever happens. And again, it probably would have led to the Nexus event or whatever. But I, it, when you look at it as like this standalone universe, Steve is in the way, and even though um, uh, he goes back and he puts the Infinity Stones back where it's supposed to be, even that part is that if there was like a cinema sins that J100 has, it'd be that part. That
Yeah.
overall at the end of the day he's gonna go back in time, but then like end up with Peggy anyway, which changes the universe,
But
right? Like,
I can't say nothing because then I want to talk about Loki, because what did we learn about the timeline? But okay, we got to stop. But
To be
okay.
revisited in about a week.
yeah, right.
No doubt. Right. Yeah. Well, that
Okay.
actually. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Go.
No, that actually made me think of something else. Um, you talked about Gamora. That part made me. And D even warned me. He even warned me that there were going to be certain parts that might make you feel some type of way, might
Yeah.
make you well up a little. And yeah, Thanos throwing her off that cliff. And like there was the smallest, and I mean the smallest part of me that actually felt bad for Thanos for a second.
Sure.
Um, and I like how coincidentally or how, conveniently, however you want to say it, they had to send Hawkeye and Black Widow to go get the Soul Stone. What other combination of people were they going to send to go get that?
Yeah.
Um, and the thing about it, and that's why I say conveniently, is because none of them knew how to get the Soul Stone precisely. So conveniently, you had to send these two there.
Yeah.
Who, like I said, what other two-person combination were you going to send? Nobody. You had to send those two to go get the Soul Stone, or it wouldn't have worked out.
Yeah. Yeah, because everybody else had to be everywhere else.
Right. And how many out of those two people combinations have like real love for each other?
Right. Yeah, and all that history and
Right. As soon as I realized that they were going after the Soul Stone, that was the first thing that went to my mind. I was like, they had to send those two to go get it. Nobody else could go.
Well, I
Yeah.
mean, when you think about that part too, like Clint could have easily gone. I mean, anybody would have been like, "Oh, Hawkeye!"
Um, did you guys ever see the deleted version of that scene?
no.
Oh.
So much fucking better, and it actually pisses me off. So while they're arguing about who's going, Thanos actually lands and they're under attack. So they're fighting for their lives, and it's like a last ditch effort to stop from both of them getting murdered. Natasha just jumps off right before Hawkeye basically gets killed, and then like flashes, and he's sitting there in the pond with it in his hands.
Oh
So
wow.
it had a
So
little bit
Thanos
more
came to them.
like the war. I believe Thanos was part of it, but they got attacked because they came for the Soul Stone as well. Yeah,
That wouldn't have.
because they
Yeah,
had
that
the other
Yeah.
two.
I mean, as a scene, that makes sense, but as a time period, that doesn't really make sense.
In
Yeah,
theory,
that's like maybe
it probably took
coincidence.
place after they already knew that they were going back in time for the stones. Because remember, Thanos catches them knowing that they're in his timeline, regathering the stones to correct what he did in the future.
Yeah, but him going to Earth is because they already had all the stones. He wasn't searching for them anymore.
True, but in this cut, he met them there to get it himself.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay.
Another thing that I thought of, it was one of Thanos' minions. The guy who was basically just picking up scrap metal and shit and twisting motherfuckers up and shit like that. That dude,
Ebony Maw, I think.
yeah, that dude was awesome.
Yeah.
Villain or not, that dude was raw as fuck.
But how funny was it? How funny was it when Iron Man called him Squidward though?
Dude, that. Thank you for reminding me. That is the part where Thor went past him with the beard, and he was like, "Left side, Lebowski." That shit, that shit had me dying, and I was like, "Huh, that's funny." Jeff, what's his name? Jeff Bridges. Was
Yeah.
it Jeff Bridges who played Big Lebowski?
Mhm.
The
Yeah.
Jeff Bridges slight shout out, and Jeff Bridges was in the first Iron Man movie.
Right.
Yep.
I was about to say Obadiah Stane.
Obadiah Stane.
Yeah, it was kind of weird how now I can't think of her name. I just had it and lost it. Gamora's sister, the
Nebula.
bitch Nebula. How okay, y'all jump to the same, and now all of a sudden y'all networks just connect.
Yeah.
I guess Thanos just he had to have a way to know that something was happening to get
Yeah, that's
involved,
true.
and
That's
I
some
guess
comic
that was
booky.
it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good comic booky, plot
And
device.
and I thought I was like, well, why didn't that happen to anybody else? And I was like, robotics.
Right.
I'm gonna chalk it up to robotics.
Technology's a bitch.
Right. And that's all I could think of.
Okay. So, real quick then, if Captain America is your favorite, knowing that Chris Evans isn't going to play him anymore, and once you see Falcon and the Winter Soldier, you'll know even more. But I guess you know enough though that we're not going to see a Chris Evans Captain America again. Does that affect you in any sort of way? Are you still excited for the upcoming movies?
No, definitely still excited. I take it for what it is. It is what it is.
Yeah.
That's how it played. That's how it played. How it played out. I'm along for the ride now.
All right. All right. And hopefully one of the things that you end up watching, of course, Jay touched on a little bit, was the What If series. And what's interesting, and I'm glad that you've seen Endgame so we could talk about this, because, and I did talk about the first episode last week, but I will say again, just in front of you guys, though, I did like the first episode. I thought Peggy Carter made a better super soldier than Steve Rogers. But maybe that was made all the more awesome, the fact that Steve Rogers had a mech to fly around in that she basically rides. So she like took out a whole squadron of Nazi planes. It was an awesome scene. But in episode 2, the what if question is what if T'Challa becomes Star-Lord? And what's real interesting about that is, so when that happens, he's like this beacon of light in space. Like, it's kind of almost like some meta shade for whatever reason, like Disney throwing some meta shade at Chris Pratt, because like when T'Challa is Star-Lord, everyone loves him. You know, like that scene from the first Guardians of the Galaxy where he wanted the guy to call him Star-Lord, but the guy doesn't know Star-Lord. Right. Like in this episode, we're just talking about him. That's the guy that was the son of Thanos in that one animated series.
Korvax.
Korvac, right. So they show that same scene, but it's T'Challa, and the dude's like his biggest fan. So it's really funny how like this Star-Lord is like accepted, but yeah, he's like so influential that like Thanos is a Ravager. Thanos in this What If episode is a Ravager. Now, he still had his plan, but somehow T'Challa being Star-Lord has made him think, okay, maybe we could do something different. But what's funny is he still thinks it was a viable plan, but like 5 times in the episode, he's talking to someone, and they're like, no, you just wanted to do genocide.
It's a joke of the show.
You're just talking about genocide. Like, let's be clear. Like, and every time he's like, oh, wow. Anyway. And so the big baddie is the Collector in this episode, because they have to go get this Ember of Genesis, or Genesis Ember, that will create more resources so that they don't have to do Thanos' plan. I don't know. It was just interesting. I mean, they're only half-hour shows. I really can't think of anything else remarkable other than that being the big change. I mean, Nebula has a blonde wig.
What's his face? Ego actually comes to Dairy
to
Queen,
Earth.
and
Yes.
now that's weird. Okay, I have to say this. How the fuck can they not get Chris Pratt to be Star-Lord?
Yeah.
But then Ego is actually Kurt Russell redoing the voiceover. How the fuck? What?
Yeah, who knows?
That was not Chris Pratt.
Well, maybe he was busy filming the Tomorrow Trash Time Suck My Balls movie.
He's getting a sequel.
That shit was stupid.
But yeah, I just found that funny.
Fuck.
But yeah, like
time for good old dad.
And that's cool, because like normally the What If comics, they would end in a dark way. And so basically at the end of this episode, we get the impression that Ego's going to take Peter, raise him to be a Celestial or whatever, and shit's going to get fucked up. But yeah, like T'Challa becoming Star-Lord just like made the whole universe better somehow. There you go.
So the question that I have,
very
especially
bittersweet,
considering that you see Ego take Peter, so is this Captain Carter, T'Challa's Star-Lord, is that all one universe, or are we literally in like random, like, what? Look at this one, look at that one, look at this one, look at that one?
I think it's random.
I mean, they haven't said either way. I think it's random, because that was more of what the comic was about. Just random, hey, you know, what if Wolverine what if the Hulk killed Wolverine during their first encounter? You know, what if the X-Men all died? Like, so, but you don't know. But they're also saying it's still canon. And now we're talking about the multiverse. So, that's interesting. Yeah, maybe they'll come like this season finale or something. Maybe they all come together. I'm enjoying it, though, for what it is. The animation's good. My only complaint is that when they show bright lights and stuff, I don't know, it kind of looks weird, but animation's pretty good.